Good morning. Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate live stream, morning live stream every morning, Monday through Thursday, starting at 8:30. And then I meet with my lender friend, Pat, on Fridays. He's going to be here this Friday, I think. I haven't talked to him yet this week. We do that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Today, we're going to jump right into the numbers. I want to examine all this buyer fatigue talk. Buyers are fatigued. They're not shopping. I want to look at that. You always hear comments and analysis and conjecture, and I just like to look at the numbers. I just saw a news article, Channel 12, examining are Californians driving up the price of real estate in Arizona, and the conclusion was no, they only account for 4% of our transactions. I have a friend in a small town I grew up in, and he was complaining yesterday that all the people from Seattle are driving up the prices of their homes and there's nothing for sale. He was completely unaware that this inventory situation is nationwide. And it's easy to say, well, then who's buying the houses in Seattle, Ted? But today we have 6,727 homes on the market. And we had 4,244 come on the past 7 days with 3,852 go under contract. That's a difference of 392. And I shortened this chart a little bit. I'm only counting from January forward now. And the yellow line are the homes that are under contract. So you can see here that these are representing buyers, that there isn't much movement here. This is, let's just go to a peak number right here, and it shows under contract 4,326 homes, and today we're sitting here with 3,852. That's not a lot of buyer fatigue right there. That number's lower by 300-400 units, but the listing growth is what's coming up. A lot more homes coming on the market, so we need to dive in and see what's really going on in the market and why these listings are coming on. Who knows? Zillow said that we're going to see a 15% increase in listings from homes that are exiting their forbearance plan based on their data that they're looking at. Something to keep in mind when we look at that kind of a number is, and here's from the Phoenix Business Journal, interviewed some people like Tina Tambour from the Cromford Report and Greg Haig, CEO of 72 Sold. And I'm going to show you a chart that she has, but here she's saying, look, the housing supply in homes priced between $400,000 and $800,000 has gone up 138% since February, but it's still low. We are so low, it's not hard to go up 138%, she said. We've all seen an increase in supply. We have seen an increase in supply and seen price reductions every week. So we're up 138%, and if we go up an additional 15%, I don't think we're going to feel it. I don't think you're going to see anything going on there. So the number is not large enough. Now, following up here, Greg Haig says, buyer fatigue contributing to more homes on the market. Now buyers are starting to see more homes coming on the market. All of a sudden, you're not inclined to fight over a house. Haig said, if they can't get a fair buy or a good deal, they just move on. That's very balanced market thinking we're starting to see at this point. We're starting to see it, but we're barely seeing it. And again, it depends on your price point. And that's what we're going to dive into here in just a second. But he's saying that all this buyer fatigue is the reason that there's more homes on the market, but the data is showing there's simply more homes on the market because people are listing their homes. So they're putting the home on the market. It's not that buyer traffic has got down so much that the homes have just magically appeared. And take a look at this right here. This is pending listings. So you can see the blue line here is 2021. That's a pretty steady little line here. Well, except you got this big increase coming up here, but it's a pretty little steady line. I don't see a big decrease. I see us higher than 2019. I see us lower than 2020, but look at this following the same trend. Some of that is seasonal. We look here. This is weekly summary market conditions. I think I don't see it going down. It's in the 23.49. Median agent days on market. That's still pretty doggone low. And here's the average list price per square foot. active listings, weekly counts. Now, this one's going to get interesting, folks. I'm going to bounce around a little bit on this one by city, or not by city, but by price point. Notice that we're not above 2020, but wait, hold on. Fasten your seatbelts. This is going to get interesting. I want to get out of the all price range, and I want to go to between 400,000 and 600,000. 600,000. There it is. Quit moving on me. There we go. Check that out. We are way above 2020. 2020, we had 1,609. Now we have 2,073. Looks huge on the chart, right? It's only 400 houses. So that's an amazing, amazing fact there. But let's go over 1 million and see what's happening, because that's where things are really getting squeezed. I'm going to pull these off. And you get over 1 million once it decides it wants to cooperate here. There we go. We're way down here, only 170 homes. Gets even worse when you get up above 2 million. So there is some squeezing going on in inventory on those homes. If we jump here and we look at number of price changes per week, this is what's really telling the story right now. And this is something you've heard me repeat often, is that some buyers are just asking too much because they heard what their neighbor got, they saw what they're seeing on the news, houses are selling like crazy, so instead of pricing their house at $425, they price it at $475 and go, oops, that didn't work. Jackie says, can you show this time of year in past years, school starting and people taking second vacation? I think demand is not dropping, just more supply. Well, Jackie, let me see what I can dive in here and see what I can find. So if we're looking at, let's see, show the time of year in past years. So we're going to look at active listings. And I think it kind of tells the story a little bit right here. If you look at every year from, this goes back all the way to 2017, you can see that we're starting to come up here in the summer months, just like we did last year. And last year, it's hard to count, as you know, Jackie. It's just, no seasonality in them. But look, we did here and we did here in 2017. So there is some seasonality to it. Everybody was going up in active listing counts after summer or during summer. It's just a natural occurrence. It looks like people are listing their second homes, their cabins up in Payson and Pine Top, and down here they're trying to sell their homes before school starts and get ready to move. So there is some seasonality in there. But I think what we were really focusing on too is that I'm not seeing this huge buyer fatigue. Now, if you look at the Cromford Market Index, this one gets very, very interesting when you dig into it by city. Now, the market index is an indicator of where our market conditions are. And this one is showing that it's heading towards a balanced market this year at the current rate. Now, once we get to a balanced market, the question is going to remain, does it just stay there and hold? Or does it all of a sudden shift in favor of buyers? The Cromford Market Index, if it keeps going down, it could shift. Or it could take its time. It could stall getting towards a balanced market. So we don't know. That's why we watch it. But when you look at this, they're saying Tolleson, Buckeye, and Peoria and Goodyear will be in a balanced market in about 2.5 months. That's good news. Gilbert, 3 months, and we're seeing that in the chart. We're going to take a look at it in a second. You get down to Chandler, 4.5 months, they're going to be at a balanced market. So we're sitting here looking at, what are we at? August. So we got August, September, October, November. Remember what I said yesterday? I think I'd wait and get ready to buy in October in some cities. Sun City West, 4.2. But check this out. Balance possibly next year or still rising. In other words, Mesa, Paradise Valley, Glendale, Scottsdale, they're not headed towards a balanced market at all. And Sun Lakes is still rising. So when we go back and we look at the data here, and let's go to Sun Lakes and take a look at that for just a second. It's showing that the Cromford Market Index is screaming up. The over 55 communities, they're not listing their homes, but there's enough buyer activity there to where you got an index sitting here at 474. Remember, 100 is normal. 474 is awesome if you're a seller. It's painful if you're a buyer. So if you're in an over 55 community and you're thinking of selling, I would pull the trigger. Going back to Chandler and looking at the dots here, they're saying here we are. We're going to be down to a balanced market. right about October, November, and this line is not moving. It's not going up and down. It's just kind of staying there. Apache Junction is kind of leveling off. And then we saw, what was the other city that we saw here? Let me take a quick peek. Tolleson. Let's see what's going on in Tolleson. If I can get it to pull up here. Tolleson is, yeah, that's just a line straight down. Look at that. And it's right at 300 right now. 300 still brisk, still frenzied, but go down here, September, here to balanced market. Gilbert has been tanking for a while, and it is kind of starting to tweak just a little bit, but it could end up about October, November. So you are starting to see more indications of headed towards a balanced market. What I like that I found, let's see if I can pull it up here again. I found kind of a recap by the Cromford Market report on what was going on. And here is what I want to show you right here. It says the current decline is 37.6 points. Estimated time to reach a balance range 110 to 90 is 6.7 months out at this rate for total market. And it says approximately 6 to 7 months of seller market conditions. So here it is going on here into 2021. Now, as you saw, there were some cities there where it's going to happen sooner rather than later. But overall, they're saying that the CMI could speed up or slow down at any given week. It cannot be predicted, only projected. So they're projecting these numbers. And the CMI has, in the past, been a good indicator of what's going to happen in the near term. So this is telling sellers now is not the time to get all giddy with your pricing unless you're in Scottsdale or Paradise Valley, and there you can get a little aggressive with your pricing. But that 400,000 to 600,000 price range right now is the one that's showing the largest jump in inventory in our market. So if you're in that price range, price accordingly, or you're going to just have people ignoring your home. As far as a buyer goes, I'm seeing less and less bidding wars going on. Less and less doesn't mean that you're not going to run into them. I have a listing going live today. It's going to be in the 680 price range. It's going to be interesting to see the activity and how that pans out. Not sure. I think it's still aggressive in certain parts of town. This one's up in Moon Valley. Not a lot of homes for sale up there. It's very popular. It's a beautiful home, and the photos come out today. And we're just going to wait and see what happens. In the meantime, everybody take on the day and have a terrific week. And I'm loving this weather.